Good evening, Nova Nation. It's WXVU Sports Director David Szczepanski coming to you from Villanova's campus. To my left is the Conley Center and the Christmas tree, one of the Christmas trees, I should say. The main one is a little bit to my right. And behind me is the Oreo. Beautiful night, though, here on January 1st. Happy New Year, Nova Nation, as we get set for Villanova women's basketball versus Seton Hall. Coming up late tip-off, 8:30 p.m. The men's team is in action, taking on Butler right now. Villanova, the women's team, coming into this game with a record of 7-6. They are 1-0 in conference play. Right before the holidays, before the holiday break got started, Villanova beat St. John's, a blowout victory for the Wildcats, and that win was great for Villanova in so many different ways. For the first reason, I mean, they put up over 70 points. Their offense played well, which, is kind of one of the main questions with this team. Can they get consistent scoring, right? I talk about so much, scoring more than 10 points in a quarter has been big, because when Villanova has struggled, especially offensively, they have scored less than 10 or less points in quarters. So Villanova's offense played well, especially in the first half, but also their defense played really well. And when Villanova was losing, they had some games there where they struggled against Fairfield, right? They had the loss against Temple, they had the loss against James Madison. Their defense really just didn't play the way that they were playing in the Battle for Atlantis tournament against a top 20 team in the country like North Carolina. So the defense played really well against St. John's, who came into that game with just one loss entering conference play. So Villanova 7-6 overall. Jasmine Basco continues to play really well. She had a great game for Villanova, over 20 points for the Wildcats against St. John's. Maddie Weber played well, and just the supporting cast did a really nice job, especially in that first half, to score offensively, but really good defense throughout all four quarters. As for Seton Hall, they come into this game with a record of 10-3, and they have played really good basketball this season. Like I said, they have just 3 losses. Both teams lost to Princeton, but Seton Hall, they always play competitive games. Their offense averages 66 points per contest. Their defense gives up just 56 points per contest. So two of the best defenses, or some of the best defenses in the Big East tonight. And Seton Hall, they are 2-0 so far in conference play. They beat Providence to open their Big East schedule, and then they beat Butler most recently. And they have played since the winter break, so they played a couple days ago since the holiday break. So Seton Hall, they have had some rest, but they're back in action. We'll see as the wind picks up. We'll see how Villanova does tonight as they get started again here, right? Trying to have to pick up after the holiday break. I'm sure that the time off, the practice time, definitely helped Villanova, the few days that they've had after the holidays, right? But getting right back into the swing of things, and they'll have to get ready to go against a good Seton Hall team. Their leading scorer is Faith Massanias. Massanias is a really good scorer. She's coming over from Maryland. She's averaging more than 17 points per contest this season. Is going to have to be, a top player that Villanova will have to watch. And like I said, over 17 points per game, coming in from the Big Ten, playing at Maryland last season. Some other scorers, Jada Eads, she's averaging more than 13 points per game, and Savannah Catalone is also averaging over 13 points per game for the Seton Hall team. As I said, their offense averaging around 66 points per game. And when you look at their three-point shooting, that is probably their biggest struggle, right? They shoot just 29% from behind the arc, but Eads, Massanias, as well as Catalone are all shooting 35-36% from behind the arc. So even though some of their depth scoring does struggle at shooting from the perimeter, their top 3 scorers do an excellent job that are in double digits, shooting the ball well from behind the arc. Some other stats too, talked about how good their defense was, and you just look at turnovers. Seton Hall is forcing over 22 turnovers per game this season. I mean, that is a phenomenal stat for Seton Hall and their defense. So Villanova has to be ready. They're going to try to force turnovers, try to create trouble for this offense. So it should be a lot of fun tonight, right? 2 good defenses going at it. Villanova, they are favored to win this game, I believe by about 5 or 6 points, but this is going to be a close battle tonight. And like I said, Villanova, will definitely take the time off because of the holidays, but Seton Hall has already played a game, so they're already kind of back in action, maybe shook off some of the rust in their blowout win over Butler. Villanova, they have to get ready quickly here on January 1st against a tough team in Seton Hall. It's at home tonight at the Finner Pavilion. Our pregame coverage will begin on WXVU at 8 p.m. With our pregame show and our live coverage at 8:30 p.m. Again, Villanova versus Seton Hall. Wildcats coming up, taking on the Pirates. Have a great rest of your night. I hope that you can join us for the late tip-off on WXVU. Happy New Year, Nova Nation. And as always, go Cats!